Hey guys, Paul here doing the M57 and the Defender conversion. Just looking at doing the fuel system on it now. I'll give you a talk through it. Just been running a few lines, taking the full pump system, lift pump and a low pressure pump. The 5-bar pump, sorry, to the filter and just made a little bracket to mount it up underneath the car. Give you a quick look through it. So these are just rough at the minute, but use the steel lines just for the cooling capacity on them. Just a couple of lines run over the top, bend them into shape. Obviously you've got to get some hold down clips for them to run across the bulkhead here. Runs down the other side and then underneath the car. Like I said, use the full system. Just welded a bracket to the cross member there. Believe it or not, the supply to the engine, I've used all the X5 fuel lines all the way to the top, so that's great. The only thing I've got to do is make an extension from the return to the silver line at the front, and then a supply and return from the tank to these two. That comes from the lift pump from the tank then, which I'm going to put in the tank later. That is the small lift pump then. So I'm just going to put that in the tank, wire that one up, and then that's it. So yeah, so what I'll do, I'll tidy it all up, make a final video on it, and then yeah, get back to you. The reason why I've mounted it where I've mounted it is because there's a lot going on there. The pump's quite big. I wanted to keep the inline filter as well, so basically I've bolted it up out of the way. It's in between the chassis rail, sorry. It's up and up away from the prop shaft. There's nothing really happening, nothing going on here, so I quite like where it's mounted. I was going to mount it on the sides, but obviously I need the exhaust running up there, and then that side, yeah, it's a little bit tight, and on the outside of the chassis rail, don't really want it there because there'll be rocks jumping about, and yeah, so that's basically why I've mounted it where I've mounted it. Not quite sure where everybody else is putting them, but that was good for me. We'll see if it works or if it doesn't. Hey, it's Paul here doing the M57 conversion. Today I'm looking at the fuel system on it. Just going to talk you around what I've been up to and fitting the fuel lines, run the X5 fuel lines all the way through the car. Kept all the stock lines and wiring. What else we got? Yeah, stock pump, stock lift pump, stock low pressure pump, and the higher low pressure pump if you like. Just basically showing you where I've put it and what I've been up to. So yeah, let's have a look. So these are the fuel lines coming off the engine. Cooler lines, managed to keep them all over the bulkhead, just using all the main clamps which came with it. Screwed one into the bulkhead here, so everything's solid. It's not going to rattle. These lines all solid across the top. I've had to straighten them all and bend them all different directions. That's why they look a little bit wonky. It wasn't new steel. Coming around to the other side, same thing again. Just fixed it to the bulkhead, and then run them down. underneath, and then basically run them along the chassis. I've kept a little bit of the Defender fuel line going down the chassis to the pump. I'll show you underneath. So underneath, here we go. You can see that's where the transfer case ends, and that's where back end hasn't been reconditioned yet, but that's how far up we are. Just welded a plate on there, mounted the pump. There's the pump, and then there's the fuel filter, the inline filter, and then all the stock lines then. So you've got the return from the engine, and then the feed to the engine is up there, that one there, and then run all the fuel lines down the chassis, and then these two lines here, these two plastic lines, they are the Defender lines to the tank, so I just left them in because they were quite neat. And then I've put my own pump in the tank, which I'll add the video in a minute. I put the pump in the tank, and then these are the two wires coming from the tank. So I've basically followed the fuel lines down, and then there's the wiring loom to the higher pressure pump. That's the faster pump there, and then the wires run all the way down to the main plug, and then this will come off your relay. So you're going to have a ECU signal in the relay, and the relay will feed the pump then. With two pumps, and I've teed into this line, so about halfway down here I've soldered in the second pump wire. The wires are really thick, so there's no problem. It'll hold the ampage of both of these pumps easy. And yeah, that's about it with the fuel system. I can show you it working. I don't know if you're going to hear it. Basically, where are we? No, I'm not going to be able to do it. So when you first start it, that'll probably prime, and then switch off until you start the car, obviously, and then the pump start up again. And that is pretty much it. Quite neat and tidy up there, way out of the way of any prop shaft, so there's the bottom of the chassis, and then you keep looking up, and there it is, tucked away nice and tidy. Happy days. It's just a quick one on the lift pump up to the fuel tank. Basically taking off the Land Rover delivery top for the pipe, taking off the Land Rover part, which is just a straightener on the bottom, and then basically attach the BMW lift pump, run two wires, fuel resistant grommet there, just run the two wires straight through it. That's not going to be the final one, but this is what I'm doing just to mock it up for a minute. And yeah, just run the wires straight through, and that'll go up to the fuel pump relay then. So that's the gist of that for the lift pump. Because the 300 TDI didn't come with a lift pump, it comes with the lift pump off the engine. So this is the BMW one. So yeah, that's the basic fuel system. I think it looks pretty neat and tidy. It's going to work. It's not rattling about the place, there's nothing rubbing. Just got to be careful there's not going to be chafing on anything if you do it, but that's what I tried to make sure. I use plenty of spacers. There's like spacers all over it. I don't know if you can see. I cable tied them so they're not going to pop off. But don't think that's going anywhere. And that's the fuel system pretty much done. That's going to be the center console on one of the next videos. Center console, I'm going to mount the ECU and mount the shifter where the handbrake lever goes, and then I can wire up there's the harness. It looks a bit messy, but it's all in order. That's going to be the harness, and that's going to be sending the signal then to the fuel pump. I think there's, where are we? Yeah, one wire off there for the fuel pump signal. So that'll go to your relay, which I gotta get. I'll probably use one of the old ones. And then, forgot to mention, if you need to organise all your stuff for a conversion, you need a fishing rod, pretty much hanging off to wire. Otherwise you'll never get organised. You have to have a fishing rod. Because, yeah, you can't use anything else to organise your stuff. It's got to be a fishing rod, and it's got to be a pen. Yeah, so hope you know I'm kidding, but yeah, that's going to be the next video anyway. Happy days. My camera's a bit dodgy at the minute. It's not working properly. It's all fuzzy. Can't hear the sound on it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. So I've done this about 5 times now. It's doing my head in. If you like my videos anyway, like and subscribe to it and to the channel, and then I'll make a couple more, like I said, on the center console and stuff like that. I've got a fair bit more to do. There's my list. Finished fuel system. I'm pretty much done that. Diff lock, motor and brackets, which is that motor there. I've made a video about that before, about basically what it is and what it does. I'm going to be just fitting that, making up a bracket for the floors and tunnel. Just got to make some floors on a tunnel, as it says. Center console, that's that thing there. Finish all that off and do all the wiring. I'm integrating all the wiring into the console. So, a couple of other jobs anyway. Repair hydraulic brake pipe, which I cut through with a grinder. So, yeah, it was a bit silly. Fit radiator, intercooler. I've got a Bearlock. Bought a brand new alley radiator for a Puma. So I'll do a video on that as well. And there's an alley sport intercooler. So that's all got to be fitted. Auxiliary belts, just like service stuff then. Shock absorber, battery tray, trans cooler. I'm going to try and get an air cooled cooler. So I don't really like, I don't like liquid cool coolers, just in case later on down the line if they split and wreck your trans. AC system and exhaust. So yeah, like and subscribe and we'll get a few more videos going. Cheers guys. Just noticed, did you just hear that bird all the way through the video? Didn't even notice while I was doing it because I was hoping that it weren't going to go fuzzy again. My camera finally starts working and then that bird just ruins the video. But yeah, I'm not doing it again. So just going to have to put up with that stupid bird screaming in the background.